Dear students, today we are going to discuss about theories of shifting. There are three principal theories of shifting. They are concentration theory, the diffusion theory, the modern theory. The modern theory is otherwise called the demand and supply theory of shifting. So now we will discuss the theories one by one. Concentration theory. The concentration theory was advocated by Physiocrates. So here, according to Physiocrates, all taxes imposed ultimately concentrated on the net income of land. The Physiocrates believed that no other occupation except agriculture was productive. It means agriculture is the only productive activity, and the people who involved in agricultural activities are having some economic surplus. So agriculture only yield net income or net product. So here the Physiocrates, they suggested that a single tax on agricultural land or agricultural income will be imposed, and the landowner should pay tax to the government. So here the tax is concentrated only on the agricultural community. So here the taxpayers are only the agriculturists or the farmers, not by any others. Here this theory is criticized by many people. The criticisms are, it suffers from a glaring fallacy that agriculture alone is productive. So the Physiocrates believed that agriculture is the only occupation which earns economic surplus, but it is not true. All other occupations are involved, all other occupations, people are involved in productive activities and earn income. So that's the first criticism. Then the second one, the high income earned by the people who involved in non-agricultural occupations are exempted from taxation because according to the concentration theory, the tax is concentrated only on agriculturists. So these are the two criticisms leveled against the concentration theory. And the second theory is the diffusion theory. Here the diffusion theory was propounded by the French writers like Mansfield and Canard. So here, according to these two guys, the taxes did not concentrate on a particular section of the people or a particular class of people. The tax should be a tendency to be diffused throughout the community. So they believed that shifting of a tax burden would go on until it reaches every section of the society. So here, this theory is just opposite to the concentration theory. So under concentration theory, the tax should be concentrated on a particular section of the people, that is agriculturists. But here, according to diffusion theory, the taxes should not be concentrated on a particular class of people. It should be diffused throughout the society. That means all people should be involved in paying tax to the government. So this theory is also not free from criticisms. Here the criticisms leveled against the diffusion theories are, it avoids the question of justice in taxation. So that if the government is imposing tax, there should be some justice. Here justice in the sense, the poorer income people are exempted from taxation and the taxes should be imposed by the government only on the high income people or the people who are having affordability. But here, according to the diffusion theory, each and every people in the society, they have to contribute something to the government as tax. So it is free from justice in taxation. Then number two, it ignores the fact that the diffusion does not take place automatically. Diffusion should take place only with some force. But what is the force behind the diffusion of a tax? It is not clearly explained by Mansfield and Canard. And the third one, the diffusion theory is based on the assumption of perfect competition. But in the real world, there is no perfect competition, so this theory is invalid. And the fourth point, it does not explain how the incidence of a tax is to be determined. That means how much amount of tax burden will be shifted from one individual to another individual, that will not be discussed, and what mechanism we have to follow to fix the proportion of tax to be shifted from one person to another person. So these are all the points leveled against the criticisms of the diffusion theory. Now the third theory, modern theory of shifting, it is otherwise called demand for and supply theory of shifting. Here this theory is based on Marshall's marginal analysis. Professor E.R. Seligman and F.Y. Edgeworth applied Marshall's analysis to tax shifting. The theory states that taxes should be imposed upon taxable economic surplus. If the taxpayers enjoys economic surplus, no need of shifting the tax burden from that person to other person. If, on the other hand, if the taxpayers are not having any economic surplus, they try to transfer the tax burden from their shoulder to somebody else. Here, according to Seligman and Edgeworth, tax is a part of cost of production and it should be included in the price of the commodity. So here, the shifting of a tax takes place when there is a change in the price of the commodity. Suppose if a commodity is taxed by the government, at that time, whether the price of the taxed commodity is increased or not, that only determine the shifting of the tax. If the price of the taxed commodity is increased, it means the tax burden will be shifted from the producer or the seller to the consumer. Otherwise, there is no shifting. So here shifting is not possible when there is no change in the price. But normally the price of the commodity are determined by the market forces called demand and supply. On the basis of the demand and supply of a commodity, the prices of the commodity is determined. If a commodity is having greater demand when compared to its supply, the prices are high. And on the other hand, if the supply is greater than the demand, the price of that commodity is lesser. The most important factor affecting the demand and supply are its elasticity. So here Dalton laid down two general propositions. They are: other things remaining constant, more elastic demand, more will be the incidence of tax upon the seller. And number two, other things remaining the same, more elastic supply, more will be the incidence of tax upon the buyer. Here, the modern theory of shifting is explained with the help of a diagram. The direct money burden of a tax imposed on any commodity is divided between the buyers and sellers in the proportion of the elasticity of supply to elasticity of demand. That means incidence of taxation is equal to elasticity of supply by elasticity of demand. Now the modern theory of shifting is explained with the help of a diagram. So in the x-axis we have taken quantity and y-axis we have taken price. So now we draw the demand curve. The nature of the demand curve is downward sloping. So DD is the demand curve. And you draw a supply curve SS. The demand and supply are equal at point P. So P is the equilibrium between the demand and supply. So from the point P, you draw a vertical line to x-axis to determine the level of output demanded and supplied. So now the quantity demanded and supplied is equal to OQ and the price is equal to QP. Suppose now the government is imposing tax worth of RP1. So this the government is imposing tax worth of Rp1. When the government is imposing tax and if the tax amount is included in the price, the supply curve will be shifted. So now you draw a new supply curve S1 and it intersects the original demand for DD at point P1. So now the quantity demanded and supplied is OQ1. So now Rp1 is the tax imposed by the government. Now how this Rp1 amount of tax will be shared between the buyer and seller? It is based on the elasticity of supply of the commodity to the elasticity of demand. So from point P you draw a perpendicular line to Rp1 or P1Q1 line. You take this point as M. So here the tax Rp1 is divided between the buyer and seller. The seller bear Rm and the remaining MP1 is paid by the consumers or the buyers. The general conclusions of the modern theory of shifting are: if the elasticity of supply is equal to elasticity of demand, the tax burden is equally divided between the buyers and the sellers. Second point, if the elasticity of supply is greater than the elasticity of demand, buyers pay more tax than the sellers. Third point, if the elasticity of supply is lesser than elasticity of demand, sellers pay more tax than the buyers. Suppose, the fourth point, suppose the demand is perfectly elastic and supply is inelastic. The entire tax burden will be upon the seller. And the last point, if the demand is perfectly inelastic and the supply is elastic, the entire tax will be paid by the buyers. Thank you.